Everybody goes home, so thank you guys for helping out with all that food. Hey, we've got a couple announcements, and the first announcement is we've got a couple guest speakers tonight, so I'll be introducing them in a little bit, but we're going to tell you again about the marriage conference. I think they got a slide for that. Home Builders is hosting a marriage conference May 4th and 5th. If you're dating, like seriously dating, engaged, or married, you guys want to be at this conference. Great speaker. You've seen the clips 2 weeks in a row. Ted Cunningham, international speaker, and he's going to come and bring a lot of humor to marriage, which we know marriage is full of humor, but he's also going to bring the real stuff too, and he's going to share how the Bible can practically guide you through your marriages, guys. So if you want to have a healthy, growing marriage, you might want to be a part of that marriage conference May 4th and 5th. Last weekend, we did 2 more service projects, guys, and I just want to share with you a little bit about those. We've got some pictures here. Where's our first group? We had, there we go. We had all these guys show up to take down a tree. This tree is like, 30 or 40 foot in the air, but Toby, there, look how tall that thing is. Toby, where you at, Toby? Is he back at the door? Toby's back there. Toby brought his crew, he brought his trailer, he brought all his equipment, and that's the second time Toby showed up and done that. So Toby, thank you so much for doing that, taking that tree down. That's Toby way up at the top. They cut that thing down, hauled it away. That was for a lady, an 83-year-old lady. She's blind. She had no way to get this tree down. She couldn't afford it, so thank you guys. Then Mark came in, and where's the last? Keep going, one more. There we go. And I'm blanking on your last name, brother. Ingram, thank you. My goodness, Mark Ingram came, and he brought his stump grinder in just today, and he leveled that thing off, raked it out, and just made it look really nice like we were never there. So, guys, that's the kind of stuff that's going on through Courageous, and if you want to be involved, it's a real special treat to go and help a lady and hug her when you're done and pray with her and just let her know that there are people that still care about her. And then we had another group at the exact same time go to the other side of town, and we did some painting. So there's the painting crew. They're putting some shelves back up, Dave, Carl, and Richard, and we painted about 6 rooms for this lady, and she made some really nice sandwiches. We had a good time getting to know her, but again, she just needed a little extra help. So guys, when you hear about these projects coming up, be ready to volunteer. We're lining these up every single week for you. Now, we're not going to have one coming this Saturday. Why? Because my son's getting married this week. Nathan, right here. Say hi, Nathan. Nathan's taking the big plunge on Saturday, so, but he came tonight to bring his brother, my other son, Noah, and Noah just flew in from Michigan for the wedding. He got in about 3 hours ago, and he brought a friend with him too, so thank you guys for being here to visit with us. But I just went down to Ybor this week, guys, and I met with the assistant principal of Philip Shore Elementary School. It's a magnet school down in Ybor, and we've got kids from all of our campuses, all 5 of our campuses go to that magnet school, and they need some help, like a beautification type thing. So we need some landscaping done. There's a lot of just some back work, just get in there and get it done, make that thing look nice, make it look presentable, and share the love of Christ down in an area where men aren't always present in families. So it's right down in the heart of Ybor, guys, and you're going to hear about that. So just start marking off your calendar May 12th. I'll get you more details, but May 12th, Saturday morning, we're going to be going down there. So if you want to be a part of that and get down in there and make a difference in that community, you're going to want to sign up May 12th. And I need some guys that are involved in landscaping, maybe professionally, and reach out to me, send me an email, because we're going to ask some suppliers to donate some stuff, reduce cost on some stuff, and just help that school out because they can't afford to do it. The principal spends her own money to put landscaping in. That's ridiculous when the principal has to spend her own money to do that kind of stuff for her own school. So we're going to be a blessing and help them out. And guys, if you want to be a part of that, that'd be great. I think Tim, where's Tim? Here he comes. Tim, I think you got a game for us.
All right, tonight's game. Is Eli up there? I'd try to explain it, but is anybody familiar with the Bring Sally Up push-up contest? No? Eli, can you roll it for me, buddy?
Bring Sally up, bring Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Bring Sally up, bring Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Bring Sally up, bring Sally down. Last done start,
now you can cut it.
tell the ground. Bring Sally up,
Now, I've had 5 gracious volunteers, including Pastor Jeff. When I saw him this weekend, I asked him at church how his push-up game was, and that got the wheels turning. So Pastor Jeff's going to come forward and participate, and I believe his 2 sons are participating. And we got Dan, who's participating, and James, who's participating. But we'd like some other volunteers. Come on, I did like what? Balloons and ping pong balls and things like that, you know? I mean, this is... Now, the winner is $25 gift card recipient. If we do get through the whole thing, we're just going to go down up until somebody passes out or gives up, one of the two. Got to keep up with the song? Absolutely. We ready, Eli? Give me a second. Anybody else? Last chance. $25 gift card. Bragging rights so that you beat Pastor Jeff? Maybe. I don't know. I got my money on him. All right, gentlemen, down to the push-up position. Listen for the music. I'm going to have to move down to see this. Back's flat.
Green Sally down, last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up,
6. Let's hear it, guys. Let's hear it. Bonus. 8. One down. Couple more guys out, I think. Down to 5. Getting the shake on. Getting the shake on. I think Dan's got it. I think Dan's got it. Give it up, guys. Give it up. Well done. Well done. Well done. All right. We're down to Red Robin and Applebee's. What'll it be? Red Robin.
All right. Thank you, Tim. That all started. Tim walked by me Saturday, and he didn't even look at me. He just walked by and he goes, "How's your push-up game?" And he just walked right on by me. I had no idea what to expect. Whew, I'm out of wind. All right, guys, we got a special treat tonight. We've got Sam Persaud coming up, and if you know Sam, he's a second-year SEU student, which is the classes are held here on campus. So that's Tuesday night. So usually Sam's not a part of this, but Sam comes up into the offices Monday morning and Wednesday morning and helps with a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on. He helps entering all the names into the system. He helps with the video stuff you see. He helps with the Bible verses that get put out, and the questions. So Sam plays a big part behind the scenes, but he's studying for a ministerial leadership degree, and he hopes to be a pastor someday. So he asked if he could have the opportunity to share. He's already shared with his class this message, and he just asked if he'd come share it with you guys. Lord put this on his heart. So welcome Sam Persaud up here. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, courageous men. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Now, Pastor Jeff was only supposed to take about 10 seconds to do that, but you could tell he was a little bit winded from the contest. So, hey, guys, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Pastor Jeff, for allowing me this opportunity. Pastor Brian, all these pastors in the house, man, they show so much love and grace, man. I'm just so appreciative and humbled by all the things that they've been able to instruct on me. Guys, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys in the book of Judges. I want to see if anybody out there relates to me here. Anybody have, and we're all men here, anybody have that hard-headedness, that stubbornness? Who's had the experience where you're driving with the wife before the days of GPS, and she's telling you, hey, honey, let's stop and get directions. And you're like, no, we're good. I got this, right? We have all our opportunities of being stubborn. And, me personally, when I was in high school, I had just got the opportunity to get my license, and I was bugging my dad. Dad, let me drive. So he gave me the opportunity. Now, I don't know if my dad had a gift for prophecy or something, but the minute he got into the passenger side, he grabbed the O bar. Now, I call it the O bar because after you say O, nothing good comes after that when you grab it. All right? So we get in, and we're driving down the road, and as we pull out of the neighborhood, my confidence is building up. And my foot is getting heavier on the gas pedal. Now, my dad is saying, Sammy, slow down. Sammy, slow down. I'm like, Dad, don't worry, I got this. And then I keep on going. I'm getting faster. Dad, Sammy, slow down. Don't worry, Dad, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Sure enough, we hit a bend in the road. Boom, we hit the guardrail on the side of the road. I look to my right, there is nothing but sparks flying up from the side of the van. Now, we were able to get control of the van and pull back into the road, and I'm thinking, all right, I've got to find some place to pull over. I look at my dad, and he's holding on to that O-bar, and he's just steady looking forward. Would not put his eyes on me. Now, I thank God, because had he have turned around and looked at me at that point in time, I probably wouldn't be in front of you guys today. So we pull over, and I look at my dad. I say, Dad, can you drive? So more to this story is I'm going to go into the book of Jephthah. And Jephthah seems to have the same issue, of taking the wheel, and not letting go for God. So we're going to give you a little backstory on Jephthah here. Now, he was cast out from his family as a child that was born out of wedlock. All right? And the reason they cast him out was because the other sons were scared he was going to get their inheritance. So that they don't risk their inheritance, they cast him out to a town. Now, he goes out to this town, and he ends up becoming a great leader for them. And then, all of a sudden, the Gideonites, which is his former tribe by his dad, they come under attack by who's the Ammonites, all right? Now, a judge is someone who's anointed. So right now, Jephthah is going to be anointed by God, all right? They get attacked by the Ammonites, and they're like, oh no, we're stuck, what are we going to do? And they say, all right, let's go get Jephthah, let's recruit him back. All right, so now you've got this kid that you cast out because you didn't want any part to do with him. So they go and get him, and they ask Jephthah, hey Jephthah, will you be our leader? Will you come and lead us in battle? And Jephthah's like, why am I going to do that? You guys got rid of me. I'm like the redheaded stepchild. Y'all don't want me. And so they're like, well, if you come back and you give us victory, we'll let you be king over us. You can be king of the Gideonites. So Jephthah in his own mind is like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. That sounds great. So we pick up here in Judges chapter 11 in verses 12 and 13. So this is when Jephthah took control, and now he's trying to enter a negotiation with the Ammonites. Then Jephthah sent messengers to the Ammonite king with the question, what do you have against me that you have attacked my country? The king of the Ammonites answered Jephthah's messengers, when Israel came out of Egypt, they took away my land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, all the way to the Jordan. Now give it back peaceably. So here, you feel Jephthah is trying to resolve it peaceably, right? I'm sure us men, there's been situations that you faced where you had a choice between having a peaceful resolution or having one out of action, out of anger. And so Jephthah is trying to take the peaceable approach. However, when we move on to verses 28 through 31, this negotiation is not going anywhere. The king of Ammon, however, paid no attention to the message from Jephthah. So now Jephthah is left with only battle as his option, all right? Now the verse I want to pay close attention to here is verse number 29. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Jephthah. He crossed Gilead and Manasseh, passed through Mizpah of Gilead, and from there he advanced against the Ammonites. Now, you guys, Jephthah was blessed with the Spirit. This is pretty much where he got his anointing. He's blessed with the Spirit. God has said, I am with you, my son. I am with you. So when he went to all these towns, he was recruiting them, and he was building his army stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So he was trusting in God. But then after this, Jephthah still, he felt the need to make a vow to God. So we move on to verse 30. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord, if you give the Ammonites into my hands, whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return in triumph from the Ammonites will be the Lord's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. Wait a minute. This just said the Spirit was over him. He was already blessed, and he's going to make a vow like that? The first thing to walk out of my house? I'm starting to relate this. What about us as men? What about us as men? We can become so engulfed in the ways of the world that we begin to live in accordance to their ways, as opposed to with God. Jephthah had a choice here. The Spirit was with him, right? But he said, no, I need more confirmation that I'm going to win this battle. I think one of the scariest things that I've ever heard a person say, and this may ruffle some feathers. If I won the lottery, that would solve all my problems. If you won the lottery, that would solve all your problems? Tell them, well, what's your problem now? Is your problem the money? Is money your problem? And that ties into the whole thing. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself, but the love of money. And I think to ourselves, sometimes we make decisions like that where we put God second. God, if you just give me the perfect job, everything will be okay. God, if my wife would just act right, if she would just do what I said, man, my relationship would be so perfect. We ask God for things that could satisfy us in our own timing, but not trusting in His. And so this brings us to our next slide. Trust in the Spirit to guide you towards God's will. Now, this is something that's grabbed out of the Old Testament. But I'll tell you what, brothers, this is something with a New Testament twist. Because in Romans chapter 8, Paul goes hard on talking about the Spirit. And I want you guys to pay attention to Romans chapter 8, verse 27. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. Trust in the Spirit, man. Trust in the Spirit to guide you towards God's will. As we move on into Jephthah, and it just gets crazy here, because now we're going into verses 32 and 33. Then Jephthah went over to fight the Ammonites, and the Lord gave them into his hands. He devastated 20 towns from Aroer to the vicinity of Minnith, as far as Abel Kerimim. Thus Israel subdued Ammon. Now, pay close attention, because there's going to be a test on these towns later on, okay? Who's remembering them? No? Think about this. Jephthah had become so obsessed with this battle that it didn't even occur the vow that he made to him. All we hear about is this battle that he's in right now. And he won. He got what he asked for, right? He won the battle. So now let's see what this silly vow was that he made. In verse 34 and 35, when Jephthah returned to his home in Mizpah, Who should come out to meet him but his daughter, dancing to the sound of timbrels? His daughter. His daughter, man. Let that sink in. Now, to make it worse, she was an only child. Except for her, he had neither son nor daughter. When he saw her, he tore his clothes and cried, "Oh no, my daughter! You have brought me down and I am devastated. I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break." How many of you have that battle going on in your life right now? That battle like Jephthah, where we don't realize the vow that we're making until it actually happens. I've got a story to share with you guys to kind of put this into perspective. I was in high school, and I graduated in 2002 from Sickles High School. That year, there were two students. One was just out of high school, Alan, and the other was graduating with me, Chris. Now, Steak and Shake was our local hangout spot, all right? And Chris and his boys were hanging out outside of Steak and Shake, having a good time, just talking. High school kids do, right? We're just drinking milkshakes, guys. And then Alan and his boys pull up. Now, some words are exchanged. You know, they're going back and forth. Alan pulls away with his boys. They go away, right? Now, at this point, they have a choice to be bigger men, right? Let's not get consumed in this battle. Well, pride sets in. Pride sets in, and Alan says, no, we've got to come back. And when they come back, they couldn't just walk away. They couldn't walk away. It was too much to walk away. And so they got in a fight. Alan threw one punch to Chris's temple. Chris was knocked out. Alan went away from that incident, probably not knowing what was to come, right? Because his vow was, you know what? I'm going to have victory. I'm going to have victory today, and that's what matters to me. That night, Chris actually slipped into a coma. 3 days later, Chris passed away. Now, that vow that he made, you know, to win that battle, was it worth it? Absolutely not. You've got two parents that lost their child for the rest of their lives. And you've got another set of parents that lost their child for a countless number of years while he's locked up, serving time for this. These are young kids. Now, us as men, we can face the same circumstance. Is it really worth it? Obsessions distract us from the things that are really important in life. What are you obsessed with? Are you obsessed with your dreams? Living out your dreams? You know, these dreams that you had when you were younger. Maybe, you know, you're going to be a famous musician, or maybe you're going to be, you know, a famous football player. You know, are you sacrificing your time with your family? Or is it work? You want to do the best at your job. You want to make sure that you put your best effort so you could get the best promotion, so you could get the most pay. What's your obsession? Think about that, man. What's your obsession? And then at the same time, while you are obsessed with that, think about the vow that you've made. What are you sacrificing for that obsession? Is it your family? Or even worse off, is it your relationship with God? Two things that you need to think through with anything that you do. First of which is your time with God, and second of which is your time with your family. This leads us to our next statement here. Do not become so consumed with the battle that you forget about the war. Now, man, I want to tell you guys two verses here that explain this out, and we're bringing this into the New Testament, but I'm going to start off with Proverbs. Proverbs 21:31 says, "The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord." Y'all hear that, man? Y'all hear that? Can I hear y'all? Come on, guys. Say amen. The horse is ready for the day of battle. So, are you equipping your horse for the day of battle? Or are you equipping yourself for the war? Huh? And what does it take to win that war? Anybody know? 1 Corinthians 15:57, "But thanks be to God. He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. That's the war. We've already won. It's already been decided. It has already been decided. But he decided. Now he leaves it up to you. And it's time for you to decide. We have victory. We are different from Jephthah in that sense. Jephthah was blessed with the Spirit, yes. But you know what? We are blessed with so much more than the Spirit. We have the Trinity. We have the Spirit, we have Jesus Christ, and we have God. Let's take full advantage of that, man. Now I want to tie this back in. Y'all remember the story about me and my dad in the van? Right? Are we not as men that very driver in that van? And is not God, my Father, in the passenger side, telling you, son, slow down, slow down. And you're telling God, no, God, I got this, right? You're in control. Everything is going good, right? And then we tell God again, don't worry, God, I got this. He's just telling you, son, slow down. Please, son, slow down. And then, boom, crash. Now you want to turn to God and say, hey, God, can you drive? Hey, guys, don't wait for that moment. Be ready to give God control right now. And when the time comes that God is ready for you to take the wheel, trust and believe that he is going to prepare you for it and put you behind that wheel himself. Thank you, Courageous. I love you guys, and God bless you guys.
What? They're heckling me, or you heckling? Don't heckle Sam. You'll have lots of people jumping all over you. You heckle Sam. Sam, really appreciate you, brother. It's an encouragement to see you taking these steps, and you know, you guys can pray for Sam. If the Lord wants him to go into ministry, that the Lord would call him to the right place at the right time, and I think the sky's the limit for Sam and his ministry. So, yeah, give him a round of applause. Thank you. All right, we got another speaker here. Hey, Charles, if you can work your way up here, give your little device to Nathan. He'll take care of you. You got it already? Oh, never mind. He's got it taken care of, Nate. All right. Hey, before I bring Charles up then, I got to tell you a little bit about him. I met Charles playing volleyball, and we play a little park over here in South Florida and Sly, and we were just sitting between games talking, what do you do, what do I do, and I go to Grace Family Church. Oh, I go to Grace Family Church. So Charles goes to the South Tampa campus. He's involved there with the Exchange, which is the young adults. He sings, he's part of the worship team, and he does some really cool things on the side. It's not the side. That's actually his main job is he's a keynote speaker, and he's kind of like he does motivational speaking, and he's involved in some leadership adventures. So he's got a lot of things going on. But the backstory on Charles and why I was so excited when I first met him was, at one point Charles was the 6th fastest man in the world. Now that's pretty cool, right? I mean, if there's only this many people on one hand that are faster than you in the world, that's pretty cool to share that. And I did challenge him to a race in the parking lot earlier today, and he no-showed, so by default, I win. I didn't win the push-up contest, but I did beat the 6th fastest man in the world in a sprint. He wasn't there. But I got to show you this clip. Check this clip out of Charles back at Florida State.
Florida State's leading All-American sprinter, Charles Clark, is running toward a better season. He's already got numerous NCAA awards and is looking to add more to his trophy case in 2011. Clark has some rituals, but attributes to a higher power for all of his success.
Definitely God. You know, he's the source of everything for me. And, you know, without him, none of this would be possible.
Charles is that loud, excited, emotional leader, loves to take the lead, loves to fire up the squad, loves to challenge all the groups, from throwers to distance runners to vaulters to everybody.
Now Clark even challenges himself. That's when he stepped up and brought a win for the Noles in the NCAA 2008 East Regional Tournament.
You know, I just got too much heart. I just can't give up like that. So we were in, I would say, 5th place, slowly creeping up, 3rd, 2nd, at the line, leaning like this. We get it. And you know, that was one of that was definitely a highlight of my life.
And a year later, he led the Nose to another victory at an ACC championship meet in Miami, Florida.
Man, that's pretty cool. Now, if that's not cool enough, in 2009 in Berlin, he was at the World Championships. He was in the finals of the 200-meter against Usain Bolt. Now, how many here ever raced Usain Bolt before? Yeah, one guy in this room. That's pretty cool, guys. We got it on video. You got to watch this. He's in lane 7. Usain Bolt's in lane 5. Now watch, Usain breaks the world record in this race, and Charles is in the frame. A couple steps behind him, but he's in the frame with the fastest man in the world. Check this out.
Alert, France, Mullings, Jamaica, Spearman, United States, Bolt, Jamaica, Edward, Panama, Clark, United States, Crawford, United States. The world record numbers, 19.30. This time cleanly away, and Bolt is already past the youngster Edward. Bolt is going for it here. Mullings is coming off the bend fast, but it's all here about Usain Bolt. Sean Crawford on the outside's having a good run. He's 4 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters away. Bolt against the clock. 19.20. It is a world record.
Guys, is that cool? Come on.
Of a second.
A couple steps behind Usain Bolt in the World Championship finals of the 200-meter. Guys, more important than that, more important than all the things I told you, Charles loves the Lord. He's dedicated his life to sharing his testimony and just sharing his heart with guys to help them, encourage them in their walk with Christ. So, Charles, bring it up here and share what God laid on your heart.
As many times as people show that video, they are really egging me on to win that race. But let me tell you, sixth place is sixth place at the end of the day. I saw some people in the back talking about oh, come on, Charles, come on. Yeah, no, this is pre-recorded, buddy. What a beautiful event, guys. This is such an amazing opportunity to speak in front of a group of young men who are just hungry for God and thirsty for Him to come alive in you. And I want to ask you guys a question. Are you living in your potential? Are you living in your potential? I think it's so easy that we can get caught up into comparison, and seeing, oh, you got 6. But are you living in your potential, what God has placed in your heart? One of the things that I love doing is speaking. Not the fact that I get to be at the center of the stage, but the fact that I can instill some type of hope, some type of courage, some type of belief that you can change your situation around. And no matter where you are right now, I want to encourage you guys out there today that it only gets better when you trust in God. It only gets better when you trust in God. And so I want to show you this quick little thing here. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, feast your eyes on the tallest tree in the world. The tallest tree in the world. What? You don't believe me? You can take the seed of the tallest tree in the world and create a bonsai tree. By pruning and limiting this tree to a confined pot, its potential is restricted. And now the tallest tree in the world is forced to live a lie its entire life. Just like this tree, lies limit you from reaching your potential. But this tree doesn't have a choice. But you do. To defeat lies, we must seek the truth. Have you guys ever believed a lie like this tree? My grandmother, she shared with me this story when she was 7 years old. She said one day the bill collector came banging at the door. Her mom stepped behind the door and told her to tell him, "I'm not home." Well, little did she know half of her foot was sticking out from behind the door. And the bill collector said, "Are you sure your mom's not home?" She said, "Yes, sir, my mom's not home." And he says, "Well, the next time your mom leaves, tell her to take her foot along with her." I mean, she was so embarrassed she had to come from behind the door and pay the man. And what about a lie we all have told in this room? Oh, what a beautiful baby. See, these lies are perceived as harmless fouls, used to avoid hurting someone's feelings. And then there are lies that our friends and our loved ones tell us. These lies can derail you from your destination. 2 summers ago, I was visiting my mom, and I ran into an old childhood neighbor. Charles, it's good to see you. What are you doing in town? We caught up on the good times as we watched the sunset. And then she looked me up and down, and she said, boy, what are you doing with your life? And I told her, I'm moving down to Florida in a couple of months. I'm going to be an entrepreneur, start my business. And she said, no, don't do that. You need to get yourself a real job. And I'm thinking, how could my neighbor tell me this? I mean, she was the type of neighbor that would feed you because it looked like you needed more meat on your bones. And as you guys can see, I was there often. But how could my neighbor tell me this? The one who watched me grow up. The one who watched my every move, even when I was trying to sneak out my mom's house from the balcony, tell me that I can't do it. And I later learned that that was a lie. See, when people tell you you can't do it, what they really mean is they couldn't do it. And I want to just encourage you guys, but by putting this to application by the word of God. In Genesis 2:7, it says that, then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the man became a living being. In Jeremiah 1:5, it says this, the God who had created the heaven and earth is the same God that lives in you. The visions other people can't see inside of you is never to be despised. I think so many times that we can get caught up into worrying about what other people say about us. But don't you understand that God is living inside of you? That God is breathing inside of you? You know, and what that means to me is, I mean, that's the best type of CBR you can ever get, right? Because God is breathing inside of you the life. He's resurrecting some things out of you, right? He is changing the course of your life. That means that you're no longer held bound to that addiction, that you're no longer held bound to pornography, that you're no longer held bound to the things that people tell you that you're best at capable of being. Because God is doing something special inside of your life. It's so easy to get caught up into that, worrying about what people tell you. You know, especially if you're in a relationship. One of the things that people always, they look for validation in other people's story. Oh, well, how did your marriage end up? How did you end up being so successful? But God is creating something different in your life. And we never can discount that credibility that God has. Since day one, he's been working in you. The next thing that we can be so caught up into is the lies, the self-destructive lies we tell ourselves. And now these lies most people will take with them to their grave. Has there ever been a time you told yourself a lie? I mean, we can become so good at lying, we can deceive ourselves into thinking that we're telling the truth. When I was 22, I had made the USA track and field team. I became the 6th fastest man in the world. But life hit me. It hit me hard. One day at track practice, I suffered a debilitating injury. And the doctors came up to me and told me, Charles, there's a chance that you'll never run as fast as you did. You completely torn your right quad. Now, things didn't get better either. My college girlfriend, she broke up with me. My coach no longer wanted to train me. And I had to downsize my living situation and move back in with an old roommate, my mom. You know, that's free rent minus unlimited space that did not exist equals who knew you could feel like a kid again? Let me tell you that. You know, I'm thinking I'm supposed to be on the Wheaties box at this point. But my mom is lecturing me about a crime I committed, leaving a dirty cereal bowl in the sink. But it's every dream for a parent's child to make something of themselves, for them to be successful. But my mom watched me suffer during that time. I went from being one of the fastest men in the world to not being able to stand on my own 2 feet. And the lie that I believed was that if I never injured myself, I would still feel worthy. I would still feel like a man. Has there ever been a point in your life where you felt that way? Come on, we can be honest. We probably all have. But I found myself being interrupted from living in this dark place in time in my life. I went from living a lie to understanding what life truly has to offer. I was asked to speak at a high school, and it was my alma mater. And at the end of the event, many of the students, they wanted to take some photos with me, and I love to take selfies. But out in the crowd, I remember this one particular teenage girl. It was as if it was her last connecting flight home. And I was the departure gate. She was desperate to get to me. As she maneuvered her way through the crowd, when she arrived, she didn't want to take any photos. She didn't want an autograph. But she said, "Thank you." Because I felt like killing myself today. But you said something on that stage that made me want to live my dream. And now I'm going to do it. It was at the edge of a high school auditorium. Her words revealed the truth. And the truth is that I don't have to be perfect, but rather we must live with purpose in our life. You know, in the Bible, it says in Colossians 3:1-3, it says, "Since then you have been raised with Christ. Set your heart on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things, for you died, and your life now hidden with Christ in God." You know, that is the best type of confirmation that you can ever receive. That in a world where we're so quick to look at other people's account, we're quick to look at other people on social media and try to find validation. But God gives us the best confirmation. He says that set your heart on things above. Because ultimately, that's where we're going. That's who we want to satisfy. That's the lifestyle that we're chasing after. It made me realize that the truth is that it's not about what we do. The truth is, it's how we do what we do. How we are brave in our vulnerability and unwavered to change what we know to be the truth. The truth is, we do have the courage. We can pull ourselves out of disappointment, shame, or addiction. Why? Because life is promising to those who see the beauty in who they truly are. And one necessary thing we must do is to understand there is no competition for the truth. And so we must silence that voice of shame and let our truth rise from the ashes. Because living in your truth, you are catapulted into your greatness. You are liberated from being everything you're not, to being the tree you're meant to be. Because as we all know, that lie, it will never substitute the truth. But the truth shall set you free. It shall really set you free, amen? It sets you free. And one of the things that I love doing, I love speaking to the youth. It's so empowering to give back and sow into the community in that way, because one day they'll be taking care of me. But one day I went to a middle school, and I love doing this anti-bullying series with the kids. One thing I told them to do, I told them to write on a piece of paper that one thing that's been holding you back, that one thing that's been destroying your life, that one thing that's been holding you captive to living like this tree, the tallest tree in the world. What is that one thing with you? What is that one thing that instantly comes on your mind every single day and you just keep thinking about it? And I told them to write that down. And once they wrote that one piece of that on that sheet of paper, that thing, I told them to hold it up in the air. And I told them to ball it up. I mean, it was 700 kids in the building. And I said to them, stand up now at this point and repeat after me. Today is the day. And they were like, today is the day. My dream. I mean, little middle school kids in there. Has been asleep long enough. I'm ready. I'm set. And I'm chasing after it. Never let those little things confine you. Never let life hold you captive. But live in your potential. Live in the thing that God has created you to be. Fearfully and wonderfully made. And I believe everyone in here, in this room, has the power to do this. Because Christ is in us. And when Christ is in us, yeah. I think it's sometimes we just need something to be activated in us. Because sometimes we go away from that thing that's been in us since day one, that breath of life. Does it feel like, I don't know for you, has it ever felt like a point where you didn't feel the presence of God, that you didn't feel like God is breathing and living in me? Let me just give you the confirmation that God is still there. God, and he's echoing inside of you. He just wants you to hear him. And I think we must get to that place of just rest, that place of being patient, that place of listening to who God is, so we can understand where he's taken us. You know, my life was completely shattered and it changed. But the moment I started to listen to God and what he was doing, it what brought me to where I am today. And let me tell you, I can't be any happier that I'm living my dream. And every one of us has the power to do that. So live in your potential, guys. Amen.
Man, Charles, great word, great encouragement, guys. Hey, keep Charles in your prayers. He's a part of Toastmasters, if you've ever heard of that, and he just won a divisional competition. I think he's one competition away from the international competition. So, Charles, the future's bright, man. We'll be praying for you, and we really appreciate you spending some time and sharing with us. Guys, before we break up in the tables, just remember we've got some service projects coming up in the next few weeks. You'll probably get an email or a text from your table leader letting you know what they are, but we've got about 3 of them, plus we've got that one on May 12th if you want to be a part of that. So just keep that in mind so we can fill these and really be a blessing to some single mothers and some older ladies within our church community. So, guys, you can go ahead and dismiss to your tables now.